Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the Week episode where I show you the coolest custom creations I happen to find people building in LEGO bricks throughout this last week. Like always, there's way more than just 10 cool creations to talk about, and links to everybody and anybody that I mention are all in the description below. Before we get started, first I'd like to say that the custom building instructions that have popped up in the web store this last week come from the designer Fukusaku. This is Han Solo's M68 Land Speeder, as seen in Solo: A Star Wars Story. It's a very fast, very muscly kind of land speeder that's got a pretty interesting asymmetrical shape. It's an excellent LEGO design, and if you did want to build it for yourself, you can get the instructions linked in the description below, www.brickvault.toys. All right, let's check out some honorable mentions first. With so many popular medieval designs coming around the corner, this one's pretty interesting from Ruck Wargritter. Here is a bread shop or a house completely dedicated to baking different types of breads, which is pretty awesome. Here's a fun police interceptor from David Roberts. The title is Excalibur. Jonathan Elliott just keeps on knocking out some awesome minifig scale cars. This is the Alpha Romero Julia Coupe. Chris McCormick has this awesome looking mech. The title is Serie Volki. Here's just an excellent photo of some different LEGO elephant characters. Jez Ryder is the name, and Julius Canand is not calling this an ent. The title is Tree Monster, and perhaps that is a more appropriate name for this this entity. I have a feeling it could probably take on an ent in a fight and win. Here's an excellent photo from Robert 4168 Garmadon. This is titled Melancholy Loneliness. Next up is a massive LEGO yacht from Arjan. I don't know if this is minifigure scale, but it certainly looks like it could be. And lastly, here is the Vidi 1 from Martin with Bricks. All right, let's jump now into my top 10 favorite of the week. Remember, links to everybody I'm talking about and more are all in the description below. Remco Rohaan is technically still calling this a work in progress, but it looks pretty darn close to complete for me. This is titled Regiment Collab. There's a wonderful little fortress or pagoda style building at the very top of this oval giant tall rock in the middle of a small lake or pond. There's a cool looking waterfall coming out the side. The only way to get up to the top is through a rope that leads to some wooden steps. Excellent details all around, and it is completely LED lit from within, which is really awesome. Next one down is from Nobu Terry. The title is Charizard, and it is so deceptively simple, yet such a wonderful, clever design for this little Charizard build. My personal favorite touch here is the minifigure legs being used as the hands or the fingers. Andreas Lenander has put together the next one. This is titled Journey to the Temple. We've got some great, very colorful and flashy organic details, but everything seems to be highlighted by the incredibly elegant, simple curve of the bridge in the center between the small islands. It's made up of just some modified clips and bars all put together in that very slow, very subtle little arc. You can hardly see the splitting or spacing between each of the plates, and it makes for an absolutely excellent looking little bridge. Number 7 on the list, moving down in no particular order, is from Ochre Jelly. This title is Loki Lego, and in the description it says not available in your timeline. It's got some really fun characters from the show. To be perfectly honest, I haven't actually watched it yet. I am familiar with sort of what's going on though. I love the expressions on the characters specifically. I like that little split in the lips there between the one version of Loki, but all in all, just some fun details to appreciate and some very clever building techniques hidden in there. And now we're jumping on over to Mike Neves. This is a Lego wolf. There's something really excellent about this build style. There's sort of a stacked brick approach for the main base of the body in white, and then much of the darker or color shade detailings that you have for the fur coat is all done with just stacking plates to the outside. In practice, this feels like it would be a simple approach, but I think logistically there's actually quite a lot of complexity going on here, and it just has a super consistent sort of art style. I recommend you check out this person's Instagram to see what I mean here. He's got a very well-established way of building. With all the different helmet or bust designs coming as official Lego sets, this is a pretty interesting, not response, but it's in the similar vein to many of those builds. This is from Wayne DeBeer. The title is Gundam Head, and I don't believe, it says in the description, it's not specifically inspired from a particular Gundam, but instead has many of the same features that you would see on several different Gundams throughout the generation. So that would be that little bit on the chin, of course the big flaring V in the front. They are originally based on the design of samurai helmets. It integrates those Technic panel pieces really well in the front, and now all he has to do is build an entire Gundam that matches with the body, that matches with the same size to the head. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is a fig scale, looks about fig scale version of a 1951 Nash Statesman Super. The builder is 1SAC-W, and there are some fun little design choices that are used to create the wonderful curve in the front and in the back. I don't believe you can fit a minifigure inside, I can't really tell, but there are just some excellent pieces used to create so many fun shapes in this model. Someone let me know what chrome piece is used at the very top for the siren. I honestly don't know. It kind of looks like a mug of some kind. And now we're looking at number 3 from Mitch Phillips. This is Firedracax, and this is another one of those brick-built figures that seems to be just a perfect balance between the original or sort of old school Bionicle pieces and many of the more modern or contemporary ones. Actually, now that I think about it, I do see some dragon wings included as well, which are not necessarily new pieces by any measure, but there are just some wonderful techniques, some great elegant shapes. I really like the curve of the legs as they go forward and back and get thinner towards the toes. The tall ridged neck has an excellent way of sort of melting in with the shoulders, and this does somewhat remind me loosely of maybe the shape of an Elite from Halo, even though they're very different. Awesome looking figure though. And I know we talked about a Dumbledore study last week, I think it was last week, but from Stefan Johansson, this is Dumbledore's office. Not only is the interior impressive, there really are some great details throughout the different levels or layers to this office. I like how it gets higher and higher as you move further back through the different compartments. Gives a huge level of dynamism to the overall shape of the office. But then when you look at the exterior, you'll see that this is a triple columned tower that's all been melded together, and that makes it so much more impressive. This type of shape in general is just crazy difficult to try to achieve, but it's also been done in a way where details can be shown off in a most excellent way for the interior as well. It just adds a whole new level of dynamic building, and it really shows with this end product. And let's finish off with a fun classic space style tribute build from Tim Goddard. This is United Systems. This is part of a Ideas competition entry, and it's just one of those scenes that just felt really fun, because when you look up close you can see everybody's got a different job, a different task, with a bit of drama right in the center, where one of these dudes seems to have lost control over the largest robot in the room, who perhaps has mistaken one of the other astronauts as maybe a piece of trash that needs to get discarded. Who knows? There's some great detailing along the walls. I love the blue backlighting, and even though the whole model is built in gray, there are just some excellent shapes just all over this diorama. And that is actually going to be it for my personal favorite top 10 of the week. Links to everybody I'm talking about are all in the description below. I highly recommend you check them out if you have any extra time. Thank you so much for watching, sticking around to the end of the video, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.